What's up, dedicated Dragon Ball denizens? I'm Ryan, and we're here for another episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. I am excited because I've been having so much fun with Shallot, one of the new starter deck EXs. I'm excited to share the list today that I have put together. We'll go over each card in the list, why I included it. We'll talk about the strategy, strengths, and weaknesses of the deck overall. Then I'll go through some other cards to consider swapping in or out. If you want to see some gameplay on the deck, stay tuned. We will have that video coming out this coming Saturday, if you're watching this the day it drops. But I'm excited. I think this is a really good deck. It's got a lot of potential. So let's get into it. Alright, and we've got the deck list up on the left-hand side. We'll start off, obviously, as always, with the leader Shallot. So he is one of the most interesting leaders we have ever gotten in the game yet. Super unique in that he doesn't draw on the top side, and he's not a crit. So at first, a lot of people are like, "Oh man, that's terrible. Shallot's not going to be good." But check out his ability. He actually gets his leader skill on both front side and back side, which means you don't have to necessarily force your awakening. Obviously, you do want to awaken because on the back side he does draw, but you don't necessarily have to force it in order to take advantage of his ability. So check it out. Activate main for 4 energy. Play up to 1 battle card with 10,000 combo and Saiyan in its special traits from your hand. So that is pretty crazy. So that means for 4 energy, you are playing out a Saiyan card as long as it has 10,000 combo, no matter the cost. And as we'll see, most of the cards in this deck are 6 cost and 10,000 combo, and that's pretty much how the whole deck operates, right? We need to kind of be top decking these cards, because as we'll see, a lot of the cards need to have a 6 cost looking at the top card of our deck, and if it's a 6 cost, we get to use whatever that effect is. So we'll see, and we'll get more into that if you're not familiar with it. So then from there, awaken, when we get to 4 life, we could draw a card and flip. So then we'll check out what its flip side is. So in this case, we've already kind of had that reveal, right? When attacking, draw a card. So then he does get to draw. He goes up to a 20k power and still gets its activate main for 4 energy. Play up to 1 battle card with 10,000 combo and Saiyan in its special traits from your hand. It doesn't have to be Saiyan only, and I'll talk about that at some point as well. But really cool. And also notice this. Now, this was something I didn't even notice until I got to the client, because most of the time leader abilities are once per turn. This is not once per turn. Think about that. This is not once per turn. If you have enough energy, you can use this ability multiple times in a turn. That is pretty crazy. Once you get into the late game, if you have a couple battle cards and you get there, you can cheat them out, especially like for UI Goku, which we'll get to in a bit, who you can use an energy marker and just create another one. Once you hit like 7 energy, you are good to go with that. So anyway, this is just super cool. Also, if you buy 2 starter decks online, you get these animated cards. Like, look at this, is just so cool. So anyway, let's get into the rest of the cards in the deck. Okay, so next up is unfortunately not a starter deck card, but this card is just perfect for this deck. This is Chi-Chi Childhood. So it's a 1 cost, 5k attack, 10k combo. On play, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. Now, really, we do want to be self-awakening because our opponents are going to do their best to starve us out. Many times they're not, because you know, they want to draw 2, but especially when you're in these Shallot mirror matches, you're never going to be attacking each other. And so this, like, self-awakeners really pay off. And really, like, it is good to awaken as quickly as possible to start drawing, but that's great. So then, obviously, then it has the auto. When this card is used in a combo from the battle area, choose a battle card in, choose 1 battle card in a combo from your drop. So nice. It's basically like a super combo if you can keep this on board. All right, so now we'll get into our first of the starter decks. We have Nappa, and I really love how this card looks. It's one of my favorites, despite not despite it not being like a super high cost battle attacking card. But anyway, this is a 1 cost 10k combo, 5k power. If your leader is Shallot, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. and then look at the top 3 cards from your deck, place them at the top or bottom, place them at the top of their owner's deck in any order. So it basically just kind of helps you organize and put 3 cards in order. I believe this is called like a scry effect, I've heard. I don't know for sure. This is the first time we're getting something like this in Dragon Ball. Usually you're doing a searcher where you choose one, bottom deck the rest. But this one's actually, you do have to put them at the top of your deck in any order, and you don't actually draw any of them. So at first I thought, oh, that's not that great. But in a deck where you really want to organize your deck and number one, know what's coming as well, it can really help get you set up, in addition to it being a self-awakener and having 10k combo. Okay, so then next up is going to be our Bulma. Another really cool looking card. I mean, everything looks so great in this deck. I'm like just so excited about every aspect of this deck. So anyway, another 5k power, but this one only has a 5k combo, but really good effect here. Another one, if your leader Shallot, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, reveal a battle card with a cost of 6 or less and 10k combo, and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom in a random order. So they do stop short of allowing you to get a super combo. They do stop at 6. But again, most of our cards here are going to be 6 cost 10k combo. So it's going to allow you to pull that, search for your UI Goku, or even anything. You know, it can be 6 or less. So, I mean, maybe you want a Nappa for some odd reason, or maybe that's all you get, you know. But as long as it has 10k combo and the power is 6 or less, you can grab that. And the fact that it's 4, I think really kind of takes it to the next level. If it was 3, I don't think it would be quite as good. You know, sometimes a lot of searchers are really like those top 3. So that's really nice. It's really hard to miss on that one. Now here's another one, Son Goten GT. This one's probably like one of the last ones that's that isn't part of the starter deck, right? One of the last. There's still 1 or 2 more. Okay, so this one I honestly like teched in for. It's like an anti-Jiren tech, because we don't really have a way to remove him that's very good. We don't have many, if any. So what this one is to include it is a 10k combo, which means it's searchable by the Bulma. 15k power, so you're not really going to be attacking with it. But auto your turn when this card is used in a combo from the battle area. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 4 or less and return it to their owner's hand. So this is really good. I initially thought of it for Jiren, but it's also a really good one to combat Broly BR, who likes to throw out Chilais to kind of protect their Brolys from being KO'd or remove them from the field. So I really like throwing this guy down, comboing him with our leader, and then that means we could play out our like Gohan to just KO the leader or any other cards. It also works really well against Black, where they have the Trunks GT, because you're able to basically return that Trunks GT to hand. Speaking of which, Trunks GT. So I'm playing that one as a 2 of the. That's our first one that we're just playing 2. Everyone else is 4. And then this Trunks GT is also a 2 of. Just a really good protector, right? Permanent opponent's turn. If you have an energy marker, your non-Trunks GT battle cards can't be removed from the battle area by skills. And it's also a self-awakener, which we do want. So the Trunks, if I can get him out, oh man, it's really good. My opponent can sometimes struggle to remove him and other cards in one turn. So it kind of gives me like a 1-turn protection. I do find them removing him like pretty quickly, which is why I'm not always prioritizing getting him out. If it's going to, you know, I think if I can play him or Goku UI and if it's going to cost me playing one, I can't. So Trunks GT is one that a lot of times you have to get out early or not at all. But he still works. I did have a turn recently in a mirror though, where I didn't get him out early enough. I was at 4 charge, and I thought, you know what? Let's just go ahead and throw him out. I was able to throw. Then I threw out a Chi-Chi, and I was left with 1 energy left and a marker. But I thought it actually paid off for me. It really worked. So you know, I think it's good. Then we've got this one. Now this double strike is. I hate to say, and I think other people, as we're playing this more and more, are kind of seeing with the Shallot too. Like, so it's a situational card. It's a ridiculous finisher when you can use it. This one I'm playing as a 2 of. though. It is really good. So it's Shallot's like such a reverse leader. A lot of leaders don't draw that are non-crit, don't draw on the backside, but they draw on the front. Shallot plays out big bodies for cheap, and then his double striker, rather than being a 5+ cost, is a 2 cost. So he's just such an interesting deck. But check it out. So activate main. Right, once per turn, place a card from your hand on top of its owner's deck. If your leader is Shallot and there's a battle card with 6 in your battle area, this card gains double strike. So make sure that you know you have to have a 6 cost in there, but it does gain double strike. Now, this one is kind of sneaky good, right? So a lot of times what I'm going to do is hit with my 6 costs. So if I have 1 or 2 leader ability, and let's see if I can get them down to 2. You know, and sometimes even if they are at 2, and I know, like, they're going to try to defend so that they don't get to 1, because they're not oftentimes thinking of the double strike coming. So then, you know, they're going to defend to stay at 2. And then you drop him out. If you've got a couple Chi-Chis on board, this is just a crazy way of comboing up for so cheap. It's tough, you know, as a 2, I think it's a 2 of, you don't want to have more of them, but it's a nice kind of niche finisher. All right, then we've got Vegito, another just really cool card. I really like this one in terms of the looks, but also its kind of power, right? So it's a 2 cost on the surface. It's got 20k attack. One of our few other like originally from the deck that only have 5k combo. But check this out, permanent. Increase the cost of this card in a deck or battle area by 4. So once you play it out, this becomes a 6 cost, but in a deck as well. So that means when we're trying to top deck those 6 cost cards, which we're going to start talking a lot more about in a minute, this is basically a 6 cost in the deck. So that really helps. And then it's got a nice on-play ability. Place 1 card from your hand on top of its owner's deck. If your leader is Shallot and you don't have an energy marker, you place an energy marker. So you can get that top deck for a marker and also kind of set you up for other attacks. Notice it's not mandatory either. There have been times where I already have my energy marker. I'm not awakened yet, but I want to throw him out there just to kind of hang out, because a lot of times he could hang out. You know what? Your opponent for quite some time isn't going to have a way to remove a 6 cost card. So thinking about that he plays out for 2. Sometimes just play him, let him hang out until you're ready to attack, and then you can really put some pressure on your opponents. And then late game, you're usually going to be wanting to use that ability, right? All right, and then so this one is not quite the last one, but it's our last real battle card that's going to be not from the deck. This is Gogeta. So as a 2 of, this is kind of a sneaky good card for the deck. I think at first you might think, oh, he doesn't have 10k combo, I can't play him out for free. But I mean, he's such a good card. He's a 40 cost. He is a 6 cost though, so do remember that. As a top decker, he can get your leader's ability off. Obviously, for the 10k combo, you're not able to play him out for 4, but he's too good, right? The permanent your opponent's cards can't be switched to active mode by skill. So I mean, this is just going to really make it tough on yellow Vegeta players. It's going to make it really tough on Broly players, because when they're playing out their Brolys, they're not going to be able to come back from rest mode. And then on play, choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area, place it into its owner's drop. If you don't have an energy marker, you place 1. The great thing about this one is, speaking of Broly, it gets around Broly's the 50k power Brolys that are able to just kind of not be KO'd once per turn. This goes straight to drop. It's also another way to get around Jiren. So just good. It's a 2 of. It's another one that, like, me and a lot of other people, I think it would be great to get to a 3 of, but there's just not a lot of room in this deck for that, right? All right, so now let's get into our next 4 are going to be like the bread and butter of this deck. And we'll start with the bread and butter of the deck, Goku. We call this one UIku because obviously it's Ultra Instinct Goku, just such a cool looking card. I actually got the alt of it too, and I sold it immediately. I don't know, the alts, some of the alts look really nice, and I mean, some of them just look sick without. So anyway, check this guy out. He's a 6 cost, 30k attack and 10k combo. So this is the first one that we're able to play out with our leader skill. On play, place one card from your hand on top of its owner's deck. If you don't have an energy marker, you place an energy marker. So that's so cool. You're able to get that energy marker, and you're able to basically set up for your when attacking. When attacking, reveal the top card of your deck, add it to your hand. If the revealed card's cost is 6, draw one card. So this is pretty crazy. So on play, you're going to top deck that, get your energy marker back. And then you're going to attack knowing that you just put a card of 6 on top of your deck. Make sure you don't mess that up. And then you're going to draw a second card. Now then from there, we're going to have to do some things to set up and make sure that we have that 6 cost on top of our deck and draw 1, draw 2. But if not, guess what? We're still drawing 1. I mean, think about that for a bit. Even if you're not quite able to, set yourself up to get a 6 cost on top of your deck, you're still drawing a card. You're putting that card in hand. But, I mean, it does feel not great to whiff it. So this one is like, if you can play him out on turn 3 or 4, you need to do it. So ideally, in my opinion, this deck wants to go second to guarantee that you have that marker so that you can play out the UI Goku. And also, I actually don't have a lot of cards to set up myself with an energy marker. We'll talk about some other cards that you can play early and swap into the deck to do it. But that's why I really like going second with this deck. If you do get some other builds for this that just guarantee you getting that marker, going first is just crazy. But, the build that I have, this is going second. Okay, next up, let's talk about Goku's dad, which technically this is a Goku Bardock dual card. But I'm just going to call him Bardock because why not? Okay. Now, check this one out. This one's 35k. So 5k more attack, still the 10k combo and 6 cost. When attacking, only once per turn. Choose up to one card with the cost of 2 or less and KO it. So that's like super good. Like this is a Satan City killer card. Satan City killer. You're just going to be KOing those 2 costs and attacking another card. That's really good. I mean, there's obviously other good decks too. I mean, you can KO your opponent's Trunks if you're in a mirror match or any other blacks. So pretty good. And then activate main once per turn. Discard a card from your hand. Reveal the top card of your deck and add it to your hand. If the revealed card is 6, switch this card to active mode. So that is super good. Now we've got a 35k power card that can attack twice. Whew. That's insane. That's insane to be able to do that. Yeah, I mean this card. When I first started playing the deck, I just kind of forgot about it. But the more I'm playing, I'm like, oh man, like the pressure that this card can provide is really crazy. KOing a 2 cost and then being able to potentially clear your opponent's board, if not even, or just get 2 35k swings into your opponent's life that's a lot. That's going to get their hand size down real quick. And also know, if you can't set up, it does feel bad when you whiff on this one because you're discarding a card from your hand. But also keep in mind that you're getting the card back no matter what. It's just that you may or may not be able to switch him back to active mode. So if you're not able to set up and you want to go gambling a little bit, definitely do so. But if not, that's life. So that's really good. Okay, now this one is another one that's a great card. I mean, what else can I say, right? It's same as Bardock, 6 cost, 35k, 10k, right? On play, reveal the top card of your deck and add it to your hand. So this one's an on play, but it is basically a draw. If the revealed card is 6, choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area and KO it, regardless of the cost. So this is your card that you're going to use to just get rid of your opponent's big bodies, right? Get rid of that double strike Broly. Get rid of a Gogeta in your opponent's area. Or if you're in the mirror, whatever you think is your biggest challenge right now, whether it's Uiku, probably if you're playing a Shallot, you're going to want to get rid of that. I mean, whatever, right? Green, whatever, androids, red, whatever. Okay, anyway, I don't need to say it, but this is your KO, and not only that, it's going to hit for 35k. So it's not only KOing, but you can add some pressure on top of that. Really cool card. Okay. Now here's another one. This is another pretty cool one against like Giblet. Just really hurts Giblet. Also Satan City in many ways, but I don't know. I don't necessarily like this one as much versus Satan City as I like Bardock. But this is a nice card. 6 cost, 30k, 10k, right? Activate main, KO this card in a battle area. Choose up to 2 battle cards with 4 or less and KO them. Right, this one's actually really good against Boo as well. You're able to get rid of that buff Boo if they've got it out. You know, good stuff there. So this is cool. I really like the kind of concept behind it too. The alt of this card looks really nice. So good stuff on this. This one's one. It's probably the one, and this is why this is of all of those 6 costs that we just talked about, starting with the Uiku. This is one I'm down to 3 of because I'm usually wanting to play the others over him. There's kind of just specific matchups where I'm going to want this Vegeta more. So I did reduce him down to 3, which I still don't really like, but I feel like there's some other cards that we need in here. So that's why. Okay. All right, moving on. So now we've got our super combo. So as much as I like those Sababan in the deck, you've got to really think about something in here, and don't forget, remember your ability. Let's go back to Shallot for a minute. Okay. Play up to 1 battle card with 10k combo and Saiyan in its special traits from your hand. Bulla GT Saiyan 10k combo. So look, it's an extremely niche play. When are you gonna do it? Not much. But if you want to make sure that you have that option to do it, you need to include either Bulla or the Vegeta super combos from hand. I put Bulla because obviously online we got this super nice Bulla, and it also, you know, you have those the tournament Bullas and stuff. You know, this is the deck you want to bling out. All right, so you can use leader ability to play out this card. You're gonna have to combo up and attack as a finisher. You know, if you got to do what you got to do, or if you can flex. My last matchup, I was just about to actually play this out for game, but my opponent quit before I did. Probably for the best. But you know, as much as you probably want to play the, I think it's called the Kinkaman in this deck. Don't get me started on that name, but you definitely want to play a Saiyan super combo, okay? Because you never know when it comes up. You might get stuck one turn with only super combos in hand or something like that. And remember, if you're at 8 energy or 7 energy, you may be able to play multiples out there. So you may attack with 1, get rid of their hand, and then guess what? I've got 2 super combos left in hand. It is a 5k extra, you know. But anyway, just do it. Just do it. All right, now we've got the next 2 are going to also be non-cards from the starter. Ultimate Sparking. I went back and forth on Ultimate Sparking because it's another one that, to be honest, is just really matchup dependent. Like I did have to remove one of my Vegetas for that, and then another one of the next card that we're going to talk about. But it's a good card, you know. It's a good card. You've got to include it. Hey, you know what? Online, I pulled 2 of these parallels, so why not? So I'm having this one as a 2 of. So activate battle opponents. Turn your cards in a battle. Get 20k for the battle. If you remove an energy marker, you can stun one of your opponent's battle cards. So the thing that I like about this one is that it's another one that against Broly can just save you. You know, the Broly BR is one of the worst matchups for this deck because we don't have a ton of good removal. And then also we can sometimes struggle getting rid of, like in one turn, getting rid of the Chilais so into the Brolys to get rid of it. So at least what we're going to be able to do with the Ultimate Sparking is make sure you keep an energy marker. When they're attacking with leader, you use your Ultimate Sparking so that you just stun whatever Broly comes out. You know, if it's the, and obviously to me, you're gonna try to save it for the secret rare. But let's say that you have Gogeta in hand for next turn, you can stun that 50k, bring out Gogeta, just throw him to drop. You know, So that's what's really good. Like the Gogeta Ultimate Sparking combo is great and is probably going to win you the game against Broly. To me, I did play Broly without it. It was close, but I didn't win. It's a tough matchup without that card. I think this is also, you know, you never know. If your opponent's starting to get wide on you, it's nice to be able to stun a card. All right, and then second to the last one, we've got Field a Lonesome Final Battle. This card is ridiculous, and I don't get. There's a few people who I've seen online that are, you know, Field. It's some people aren't playing it, and they just think that the deck can last. Like, do not even think about not playing Field in this deck. Do not even think about it. Field, the Lonesome Final Battle, takes this deck to the next level because you need to be able to know what is on top of your deck so that you don't have to, you can play more freely. This is going to cost you one charge to play it, and you can have it potentially for the entire game unless you're against blue. And check it out. Activate battle. Switch this card to rest mode. Look at the 2 cards from the top of your deck. Place them at the top or bottom in any order. So you're able to get this. Let's say what I like to do on my turn. Let's say I already have my UI Goku out, right? I'm gonna attack with my leader into whatever. I'm gonna use Lonesome Final Battle. Activate battle. Let's look at my top 2. Do I have a 6 cost on there? A lot of times my next one coming up was a Bulma, and then I'm gonna have, I don't know, let's say a Gohan. I can reorganize that, put him on top, and then go from there. And then it's going to help me to determine the rest of my turn. Let's say neither of them were 6 cost. Bottom deck them both. Do I want to take a chance here? What am I going to do? Do I want to just go ahead and attack with Goku and cross my fingers I can get a 6 cost? Or maybe I'm going to go ahead and play out a Vegito for 2. Make sure I top deck something so I can ensure that I'm drawing 2. Or, obviously, from there, when we need to get Bardock, when we need to get these cards, like, you don't want to have to waste too much charge here, because sometimes you don't have enough. So, to me, Field is the way to go. This is the other one. So, in order to fit Ultimate Sparking, I had to remove 1 Field. I went down to 3. I don't like it that much. I, in my opinion, would love 4 to get that consistency in there. 4 Vegetas increases our chances of seeing the field, and 4 fields, and of seeing a 6 cost with the field or just in general, and then 4 field, make sure you see it. So I'm sacrificing some of the consistency a little bit to make sure that I just have a better chance of being a well-rounded deck. But, you know, that's where I'm at. So I would really love to go to 4 field. In fact, I've even considered dropping the Trunks GT to do that, but I'm not going to do that. I feel like this list where I'm at is where it's at. Let's go over the last card, which is Burning Power of Instinct. So this card is an underrated card. It's kind of a Final Explosion light. It's kind of a better version, in my opinion, of the 10x Kamehameha. I'm seeing some people run 10x, which I just don't understand. There's no reason why you would want to run 10x over this. I think I see what their logic might be. Check it out. Activate main if there's a battle card with cost of 6 in your battle area. Choose up to 2 battle cards with cost of 3 or less and KO them. So you need a 6 cost in your battle area. Cool. So what? Play out my UI Goku, get my marker, and then use it. Use it to KO 2 of their 3 costs. I just don't see why you want 10x over this. It's 1 cost. You can KO 2 3s. This is another great one to use against Giblet. Great one to use against a lot of yellows. You know, they love playing out kind of a lot of 3s. And even reds. Red matchups, which are still probably the worst of everything here. Alright, let's go through the strategy, strengths, and weaknesses of this deck. The strategy, I say Self-Awaken. Although it's not the worst thing in the world if you don't. I think that this deck does want to awaken to 4 as quickly as possible, because we don't want to get starved out. Especially, you know, knowing that, like, if I don't see my UI Goku, I've got no draw power unawakened. If you do see him, then it's okay, you know, to just kind of wait. You know, sometimes it's kind of an interesting thing to see. You're going to really have to rely on him. But what's going to happen is if you get that UI Goku out on turn 3 and you're not close to awakened, it can be tough. Like I played a match once where I was at 6 for like the whole game, and it actually worked out. I never awakened and I beat him. Because I just had multiple UI Gokus drawing multiple cards per game, and you know, I didn't attack with my leader, but I had such a good board that they were just comboing their freaking hand up to try to destroy my board, and I was drawing 4 per turn because I also had field. But it's risky. You honestly want to awaken. You want to get that guaranteed draw per turn and be able to provide pressure on your opponent because you're only hitting for 15 with your leader, right? So to do that, play UIQ. I mean, that is just like your turn 4. Like, that's what you want to do here, right? And really, like, for the most part, if you don't have a board to deal with, UI Goku's the play almost every single time, unless you really want to like start applying pressure. I think actually, to be honest, the thing that I need to still get better at, full disclosure, is when to play out UI Goku versus Bardock. Because it's kind of like, you got to think about it like, UI gives you defense, cards in hand, and combo power, whereas sometimes it's better to throw out the Bardock and just pressure a little bit more. So that's where I'm still learning a little bit, is like, when do I want to play out? And I've experimented and kind of seen a lot of times, like, if you've already got a UI on field, probably want to play out Bardock is what I've seen. Like sometimes it's cost me matches, but at the same time, sometimes I've pressured too much. If you get their life down too much, then too fast, then it can be bad. So that's what I'm learning a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about the strengths. Mid to late game draw power is crazy, right? Like, your opponent sometimes is just not able to make a dent in you, and if you can defend your board, if they don't have, like, if they're not trying to remove and they're thinking, oh, I'm just gonna drop big bodies on them, and I'm just gonna try to combo up in order to take out their battle cards, like, oh man, like, it's not gonna be a good time for them. They need to work on removing your big guys more than they need to get bodies on the field, because you're able to take those guys out. You know, you've got a really good toolbox with this deck between Bardock, Goku, and Gohan. Just crazy. And even Vegeta. So if they, let's say they even do throw out like a big guy, and if they fail on comboing up, then you play Gohan, remove him, and you've got 2 to 3 big guys on field. It's not going to be fun for them. And they're so cheap. It's got excellent defense because we have so much 10k combo. You do have to think a little bit about, like, what's my matchup, what can I afford to combo away, and what can't I, you know, because if you've got 3 Gohans in hand, cool, combo one. But if you only have one of each, right, one UI, you're like, oh, what's the matchup here? You pretty much never want to combo your Gokus, in my opinion, but there could be times where there is, right? Weaknesses is obviously there's no early draw. You can get around that with self-awakening, so that you can get to the draw power more quickly. You do have your Bulma Searcher, but also know, like, even the Nappa can self-awaken, but he's not drawing you anything. So there's that. Removal can be tricky for this deck as well. We really don't have anything until we get Gohan on the field, or at least one. Well, we just need a 6 cost, and then we can use our burning power of instinct. So, you know, there's that. But removal can be tricky because if you're not able to set yourself up and you whiff on a Gohan, it can cost you the game, and that feels bad. When you throw out a Gohan and you whiff on that top decking the 6. Oh man, it's not going to be good. So knowing that, you know, if you kind of have to take a chance and you can't guarantee it, and you can get the Gogeta out there, that's probably the way to go. Really, this is a gacha based deck. For those of you that have played gacha games, it's RNG. RNGs is take the wheel. So obviously the field really helps take away some of the RNG to that, which is why I think it's a must-have in this deck. But that's what it is, and I've been playing gacha games for a long time. I was a big Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. You've probably seen me in the shirt sometimes, and then War of the Visions. Those games just ended. So you know what? I picked up Legends, and I've been playing that one. I'm not spending any money on it, but it's a fun game. I do really love Shallot as a character too, so I'm actually like really glad that this deck is so much fun for me. And a new section here. I've never done this before, but I feel like I have gotten a pretty good idea so far of like matchups versus colors. So this is my opinion and my experience so far. Is good matchups are going to be yellow. It's like the best matchup. I've only actually played Boo once, but I destroyed him. I've played a few yellow Vegetas and destroyed them. Like this deck they just can't really keep up, and we have so much good removal. Like the secret rare Frieza's in like Vegetas can't really do anything to them. So because we're all 6 cost, so that's pretty good. Black I found I do really well too. Like in mirror matches, like I feel like the build I have does really well against other Shallots. I think I've won most of them, not all, but I'm able to win because I've got a lot of self-awakeners, and like they either will attack me and I awaken quick, or like neither of us attacks and I awaken quicker. I feel like that's kind of a big thing against the mirror match, is like if you can awaken first, you've got a good shot at winning. Now, and then Gogeta, I feel like I do well. I haven't played Goku or a baby deck, but I think we do well. I think they're going to struggle to remove, and we won't as much. Mid, and I feel like, to be honest, it's a pretty it's not quite in the good, but I feel like blue is like right up there from being like, I think we have the advantage. I think Shallot has the advantage against blue. I've played Daima Vegeta, and once I finalize my deck, I feel like they're going to really struggle to win against this deck because of the 6 costs, right? It's just really hard to do. And if you can work on making sure that you get your Trunks GTs out there, like you only have 2, don't charge them, it's going to make it harder to Zeno them. Like for the Daima Vegeta, like he's going to struggle to remove those 6 costs until he gets to like 8 energy, unless they're using like Absolute Lightning or something, which for 3, like that's going to take up most of their energy and not allow them to put a lot of pressure on you. So I think that's good, and we can hang toe to toe with their draw power of the 5 cost, who's only going to reduce us by 5. They're going to need another, they need 7 energy before they bottom deck one of our 6s. They're going to draw 3, but if we have our UIs, we're going to draw more. Now green is where it kind of gets into, I think green kind of might have a little bit of the upper hand. I think with Broly and Ultimate Sparking, it makes it a pretty even maybe advantage if we can play things out. But we're really like relying on these 2 of cards to tech them, and if we don't see them, it's not going to go well. Like we've got our Gogeta, we've got our Goten, and we've got our Ultimate Sparking. If you don't see those cards, you're probably going to lose against Broly. Now, bad matchup, and it's going to be really interesting to see post-ban list, post-manga set, like, does Red come back? Because Red is the worst matchup here overall. Like, because remember, these are some 6-cost cards, but they're not extremely powerful. Red just needs to neg them to 0 to remove them from the board, which is not that hard. Like, it's not hard to neg a UI Goku down to 0. So they're gonna be able to kind of answer us a lot earlier than other decks. Jiren is what I found to be the struggle. It's not a terrible matchup though. They still don't have a lot of tools, but I still say it's bad. They have the advantage. If you don't play really well and you don't see the cards that you need to see, then they can win it. Alright, and let's talk about some other cards to consider in this deck. I've been in what I call the big Discord. I've never been active in any of like deck discussions before Shallot, so I feel like I've got a really good idea of like what people are doing so far, and the logic behind it too. Sometimes I'll see a list and I'll just, oh man, like what the hell are they thinking? But these are cards that I've seen in lists and I see the logic. Some of them I actually do want to fit in the deck, but just can't, knowing that like there's not a lot of room to swap in this deck. Like this deck was created, it was meant to be, kind of consider that it may not get a lot of support either, like in the future, so it could be a power creep deck. but maybe not. You know, there could be some Bandai might have some fun with us and throw in some other cards. But anyway, these are some cards that I see the logic behind, but I just either can't fit in the deck, or I just don't really like what they're doing, or feel like other cards can do it more. So anyway, here's our first one, is the Goku Childhood. I'm seeing a few people with a one of for this one and I just, in this deck, a one of just I don't get it. Like, you're not gonna see it more than likely, and when you do see it, it's probably too late. You know, in this deck, consistency is king when we're not drawing before Awaken. That's kind of what you want to think about with any of these crit lead as well. So to me, if you're not going to play this one as more than one of, I don't know why we want to play it at all. I think you can just fit in other cards, more copies. But it is a good card. So activate main once per turn if you lead a Shallot, draw a card, then place one card from your hand on top of your deck. So it's a solid cycle, right? It is a solid cycle. You do draw and then you place, so it does help you get set up, right? It gets you, it is a one cost, so it helps you set up. But to me, just use your field, okay? Now the next one, this is one I really want to get this one in, because this is a card that going first is just going to make it as if you went second and just like put you at a huge advantage. I just can't figure out what to remove to include it. I'd like to put it as a 2 of. It'd be nice as a 4 of, but I just can't find room. So it's a 10k combo, which is nice. You can search it. One cost 5k. Activate main once per turn. Switch an energy to rest mode. Place one card from your hand on top of your deck. If you don't have an energy marker, you place an energy marker. So you get that marker, which is so nice and allows you to play out the UI Goku. If you're going to play this one late game, you can maybe play him for the marker, activate one, get your marker back, and then top deck a card so that you can get yourself set up. I just can't really fit it. And even, to be honest, as much as I like it early game, like, we do have to think about the fact that, like, we're not drawing. So we're playing him out for an energy, and then we have to lose a card from our hand in order to get that marker. Obviously, it's going to pay off, you know, if you could play your UI coup and get a card back, but it's kind of a lot. It's like just not good enough for me to remove anything else for. Okay. Now here's the next one, is Kakarot. It's kind of, this is almost like the same thing, but a little bit different, right? On play, place one card from your hand on the top or bottom, but I don't think you're ever going to put it on the bottom unless you just don't have any 6 cost or something. If you don't have a marker, you place an energy marker. So it's a solid card. Before I had even thought of field, when I first created this deck, I didn't even think of field. I don't know why. You know, sometimes I'm not that smart. But so on play, place one card from your hand on top of your deck, and you could get a marker. So it does help you get set up. It does give you a marker, but it's another thing where you're losing a card. You know, you're losing card, and if you're playing this early game, we may be starved out already. So it's just why, like, I'm good. Now here's another one, is Para Bros. I can see the concept on that. I've seen a few people with this one. I personally, it's solid, but how are we going to fit it? What are we removing for it? But we can remove an energy marker and basically stun an opponent's card. It's a 10k, so it's searchable and gives 10k combo. If we did play it, then you may want to consider Hercule. If you can kind of, I'm sure that some people will think of a package to make the Para and Hercule work. But the Hercule's great if you have a marker. Add up to one non-Hercule card with one or less from your drop to your hand. So you can get Chi-Chi's back. You can get Hercule's back. I mean, not Hercule's, Para Bro that we just talked about. I mean, you could get Nappa back if you want. Whatever, right? So it's a solid card, but it's like, what am I going to remove? What am I going to remove for him? Okay, now another one that's you know, it's one to think about over the Goten GT, right? So this has kind of the similar concept of getting their Jirens back to hand. And it is a self-awakener. So on play, add up to one card from your life to your hand. So that's solid. When attacking, it does cost 1 energy though, but you can draw a card. And then if you remove an energy marker for that skill, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 4 or less and return it to his hand. So there's a few reasons why I don't like this one as much. The first one, 5k combo, so it's not searchable. The second one is it costs an energy in order to use. Like, from what I found, a lot of times, like, by the time my opponent's playing out, like, the card that I want to return to hand, I'm going to play out my Goten, and I need 6 energy total. So I'm going to play out Goten, and then I might need to play out another battle card and combo up. This one, you don't need to combo it in order to, so you can potentially play it earlier, kind of let it hang out, and then use the energy. And it's an attacker on its own. You know, it's kind of self-sufficient. But I just like the Goten a little more. This one could be a preference, and maybe overall with some testing. I haven't tested the pan, so maybe with some testing we'll find that this one's better, but not for me. Staying on the GT end, we've seen some people who like Super Saiyan 4 Goku in this deck. Another one that I just personally can't get behind. You know, the argument is if you can play more UI Goku, why not? Because this one is going to let you draw a card if you removed a marker that turn, right? And then when attacking once per turn, you place a marker. So it's good. I see why. But to me, it's like, okay, you have 5 copies of UI Goku. Are you ever going to play 5 in a match? Are we going to risk... are we going to remove another 6 cost in order to put this guy in? Like, if you want to really go and maybe, like, say, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of Nappa. You know, I'm going to get rid of Nappa, and we're just going to go big. Maybe I can see that. But if you're removing other 6 costs and reducing your chances of getting your top decking a 6, it doesn't make any sense. But if you want to maybe go and remove some of these other cards, like maybe you say, you know what, Jiren... I'm just going to be done with him. I'm just going to remove Goten, and we'll put him in. So if you're doing something like that, I can see the logic. But I personally would just think, like, if I'm going to play him, I'm always going to want a UI Goku. There's not going to be many instances where I don't play him over him. But, I mean, cool. If you can get 5, 6, 8 copies, you know, and you want to go hard on that, be my guest. You know, maybe it's something I'd consider in the future. All right, and then the final card we have here is going to be the Soul Punisher. This is another one I put in my initial iterations of the deck because it does really help with removal as well. It's really nice, right? So choose one, activate main, choose a battle card in your opponent's battle area and KO it for 4. And if you removed a marker, you can KO 2 of them. So the thing that I do like about this is, in a way, obviously, do you think, well, the Gohan's better, right? And it is. But you don't have to gamble on it. It's just a guaranteed. And then you can remove up to 2 if you remove the marker. I did remove this one because I didn't find that I really needed to use it. But it's a solid one to think about throwing in the deck as well. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Hope you enjoyed my deck profile for Shallot. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know how it's been going with your Shallot lists. Or if you've been playing against Shallot, like how the heck you think you're going to beat him. But if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button and become part of the Hawks Nest, a fearless flock of fabulous folks who love to do what they love. I love making these decks. I'm so excited for Shallot. I'm also excited for the manga set to drop this week. I think what we're going to do as a Green Vegeta lover, I think that's going to be our first deck of the manga set. I know it's not a new leader, but I just love Green Vegeta too much, and I'm super excited to be able to see if he is a viable leader. I haven't heard too much about people's testing to see if he's going to be viable, but I really hope so. So we'll see. So we'll get into that. Will be next week, and then I'll probably do a new leader from there. More than likely, Cell will be who I go into after that. If you're not ready to fly yet, that's all right. Just hit that like button. Leave me a comment. We'll show up in an algorithm near you in the near future. But until then, see you next time.